China has doubled down on its partnership with India. I know you heard about that.
Yep.
They're openly defying Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, other countries refusing to play along with Washington's trade agenda haven't shown major financial fallout. And some analysts predict they could actually thrive outside the tariff system. It's starting to look like there are two global economies forming, one under Trump's tariff influence and another bypassing it entirely. Mike, are we watching a permanent economic split unfold?
It's possible. It's weird. I was going to bring that up. Some failures, I would say. I'm not going to call them failures because it's too early to say yet. But, we had all those people come to Washington last week or a week or 2 weeks ago trying to get a peace deal with Ukraine and Russia. Nothing's happened. In fact, the only thing that's happened is Russia's bombed the living shit out of Ukraine, that the war has picked up. We were talking about Israel and Hamas. Well, we're not talking about it so much anymore because there's so much news going on, but they are increased genocide, multitude 10 times over the last couple of weeks. They're bombing the living crap out of them. You've got India that's basically putting their thumb up saying, we're going to keep buying. We're going to buy oil from the cheapest way we can buy it from Russia. And that's just the way it is, regardless of what tariff you put on. Like you mentioned China, you've mentioned. So do I think? Yes, I can see that there are two economies possibly splitting apart. I don't know if that's going to stay. I don't know if that's feasible. But we're going to find out.
So not only do I think it's feasible, I think that it will grow. And this is the main reason. The two largest populations by a long shot are on that side of the fence.
Yeah, India and China.
The Asian influence on the economy is extreme. It's extremely lopsided.
So let me ask you this: Are you suggesting that? Let me just go with this for a second. Are you suggesting that you're going to get, like, let's call it Southeast Asia? You got maybe Vietnam, India, China, Mongolia, Russia into their own little thing, and then you're going to have split off is going to be the Americas and Europe, and maybe parts of Africa we're going to have two distinct separate pods of influence. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm absolutely saying that. And I'm saying that India and China have the advantage. I'll make it real simple for you, Mike. If you were a tech company owner, forget about all the history and everything. Just look at this in a vacuum. If you were a tech owner and you were going to start a new computer company and you may even do some military drones and stuff like that, and you were looking for a workforce, manufacturing, support, and technical know-how to innovate,
mm-hmm.
and you had to pick a country, would it be the U.S., China, or India?
Yeah, but that's right now.
America would be, well, that's what we're talking about now.
But okay.
And I see it separating even more.
Understand, but if they separate, then you're talking about, I'm envisioning two pods where they're not trading, or there's less trading going on. So we wouldn't have the opportunity to produce that in India any longer. We would be producing it in Venezuela or Costa Rica or Mexico.
We wouldn't have the programmers. We wouldn't have the people that almost everybody who writes algorithms for Google, meaning all of Google itself, the search engine, the YouTube, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost completely all Indian.
But what we do have that they don't is the wealth. We have more wealth.
I understand that.
We can buy people.
I understand, and I agree with that. But one major difference is, even though wealth is concentrated in countries, it's even more concentrated in those countries. So even though the dollar amount may be lower, it's far more powerful. The labor workforce is they could pretty much just India damn near got slavery now.
Yo, not damn near, it does have slavery. But
okay, America wouldn't be where it is financially minus slavery.
Agreed. However, I do see that we have the economic clout, and we probably could get enough countries involved with us that have the cheap labor, and then furthermore,
where they come from? China owns half of.
But you have to remember, but here's the problem: we do have more resources in energy resources.
Okay, and that's the same principle as like with the money. We may actually have more resources, but we have to dispense them over a larger group of people. They don't have that issue. Long as the rich is doing good, they can use all the resources on them. They don't need it for anybody else.
Yeah, I think they lose on oil. That's where I think that the great equalizer here is oil. They lose on oil because without oil, without the petroleum products, you can't make the stuff. You don't have the plastics. You don't have all and we control the oil.
We control the oil in the Middle East and in America,
which we have the most of. If we actually use it.
I get it, but you don't think that there's enough outside of those two to supply the world for at least a decade?
Yep, but it depends. I mean, a lot of that is Russia. It depends on whether we keep the war going on. We talked about this on last week's podcast. I think we agreed that if we keep that war going, it weakens Russia, continually weakens them. Eventually, they're going to get so weak that they're going to have a tough time producing oil.
So, just be frank with me. So, my idea that we are in a critical situation where if we make the wrong move, we could be the lesser than in an economy. You
yes.
Just think I'm totally off base on that?
No, I think that there's I don't. I think that is a risk. I don't know. I don't know. Well, there's two things I don't know about. One is it in the long run, are we actually going to divide into two economies? That's to be seen. And then two, in the long run, which one is stronger, or maybe neither? Maybe they're both equal. I don't know. So there's a lot of unanswered questions.
You're basically answering a different question. You're telling me what you think is actually going to happen. I agree with you. I don't think any of those things, but I think everything that I presented to you is a real thing, and
to turn it around,
it's a possibility. I don't think it's probable, but I think it's possible for sure.
Turn it around to look at it the opposite direction. I would say, and I've said this repeatedly, and I'm going to stick to this. I don't think the tariff thing is going to work. I just don't. I don't think it's a good policy. I don't think that over the long term it's going to work. Look, we don't want to work. I mean, the tariffs on China were one thing, and tariffs on Russia or penalizing them for the war is another thing. Putting tariffs on India, I don't think is in our best interest.
I think the whole tariff thing, period. I believe there should be no tariffs, period, from anybody to anybody.
I agree.
If this is the cost of your product, that's the cost of the product. This is how much it costs to ship it. End of story. Do we have an agreement where we do export and import? Yep. That's it.
And I think in some ways that's what Trump's trying to do. I just think that trying to do it by doing exactly what you're trying to have them get rid of is not the way to do it. He's basically saying, I don't want you to have tariffs on us, so we're going to put them on you. Well, I don't know about that theory.
And there's more to tariffs than...
Yes.
There are a lot of long-standing tariffs that were basically a deal to funnel money to a country without it being part of like US aid or something like that.
Correct. That's right. There's lots of behind the scenes going on. I think what you're suggesting is that you have what I would call a pure capitalist platform where the cost of widget A is X, and that's what it is, regardless of whether it's sold in the country of origin or the country of destination.
I think there could be a variance in price simply because the cost of living.
Exactly. Yeah.
But in basic principle, yes, sort of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't have no problem with somebody making a profit.
But Phil, you and I are suggesting a principle here that goes against the Donald Trump train of thought. He is largely trying to be an isolationist, and I don't think that that's a good idea.
I agree, but he has a large group of people. I would say, especially in the southern states, on the East Coast, there are a lot of people who have that mentality that he's feeding into.
Yeah.
And they've never thought beyond the romantic idea of it, because it sounds beautiful.